Yo, what is going on, guys? Today I'm going to be looking at the NBA slate on DraftKings for Saturday, February 3rd. We do have an 8-game slate today on this Saturday, so a nice size slate for a Saturday. I'm recording today's video a little bit later than normal. I'm recording it late Friday night, so I'm not going to go through each position today. Just going to give 5 plays, 5 guys that I'm seeing the night before. Early looks at this slate, 5 guys I definitely think I'm going to be targeting come lineup lock. Now, you guys don't want to just plug these 5 guys in without doing any research or without keeping up with news throughout the day. Make sure you're keeping up with news because there is one play that's really news dependent. One guy that I like for today, if injuries don't break our way, he's going to be a terrible play. He's not really going to do anything. But if injuries do break our way, he could have a monster game today, could really crush value. So make sure you're keeping up with news throughout the day. Don't just plug in these 5 guys without doing any research. You're definitely not going to win that way. But these are 5 guys that I see on this Saturday slate that I definitely think I'm going to be targeting. I will try and quickly go over the position. When I talk about players that I like from that certain position, I'll try and skim over the position really quickly and talk about where we could go. So at point guard, I have 3 plays here. I got 1 up top, and then I got 2 in the mid tier that I really like for today. The top play I like at this position, not Harden or Curry. Really like Chris Paul here, 9,300 in a matchup against the Cavs. Just such a good matchup. Definitely want to attack this Cavs team just with all players. This Rockets team, definitely going to have exposure to them, whether it be Paul, Harden. I think Capella's in play if you want to go to him at center. Mainly Paul, though, is the guy that I really like from this team. Just such a good matchup, seeing Isaiah Thomas defense. Thomas is such a bad defender. This is a great spot for Chris Paul. He's got a pretty nice price of just 9,300. Feel like he's going to be somewhat low owned today because of how well James Harden's been playing lately and how bad Paul has been playing. Paul's only put up 27 and 19 DraftKings points his last 2 games. Kind of been struggling. Feel like a lot of people might go to Harden today, but I really like the savings you get. Taking nearly $2,000, it might actually be more than that. You get like $2,300 in savings going down from Harden to Paul. I think Paul could have a really nice game here. Paul's getting his full minutes now that he's back from injury. If it's a competitive game, Paul's going to play 30 to 35 minutes. Just really like him here in a great matchup against the Cavs. If I pay up top at this position, I think he's the guy I want. You could go Harden against Cleveland. You could play Curry against Denver. You could even play Oladipo. Now that his price tag's come down, even Simmons, I don't mind. Paul the guy that I really like there. In this mid-tier, there are 2 plays I see here. First off, Drew Holiday. Love this spot for him. Just 7,600 in a matchup against Minnesota. Really like Drew Holiday today. With DeMarcus Cousins off the court, Drew Holiday, Anthony Davis, these guys are going to be usage monsters. With Holiday's price of just 7,600, I think he's a great option here. He was like 8,500, I believe, on Friday night. I think he had a pretty disappointing game against OKC. That game is going on as I'm recording this video. He's not playing that well. Might keep his ownership down a bit today, but we are getting some savings on him today. He did get priced down to 7,600. Just really like Holiday here. Should be able to avoid Jimmy Butler defense, I would imagine. Might see a little bit of Butler, but that's not really going to scare me away from Holiday, especially with his price being under 8K. And just with how much usage he sees with Boogie off the court, love Holiday here. It is a bit concerning that Rondo played some really nice minutes Friday night. That could be something we want to go to. We could consider Rondo a value play because as I'm recording this Friday night, I think Rondo's got he's played 25 minutes through 3 quarters. That's going to hurt Holiday if Rondo's playing full minutes because Rondo has the ball in his hands a ton, kind of takes away assists from Holiday. But Rondo's minutes are so inconsistent, I don't know if that's going to be something that really continues. Holiday's the guy that I like from New Orleans. You can obviously play Anthony Davis here, but I just like Holiday's price tag and the matchup as well. So 7,600, really like him at point guard or shooting guard if you want to play him on the slate. And then the 6K range, a guy that I was pretty high on Friday night, just going back to him here, Ricky Rubio, 6,100 in a matchup against the Spurs. Love Rubio, been so consistent lately. The price tag hasn't really caught up to the production. As I'm recording this video Friday night, Rubio's having a monster game against the Suns. I believe he's got 35, 40 DraftKings points at halftime, just playing so well. And Rubio's been getting the minutes, which is something we like to see. He's been playing 30 to 35 minutes a night if it's a competitive game. This isn't obviously not the most optimal spot going up against the Spurs. Both of these teams do play at a pretty slow pace. They're both pretty good defensive teams. But earlier this year against the Spurs, Rubio did play 37 minutes and put up 36 DraftKings points. So he had a solid game against them. With Dejounte Murray starting now, that is a bit concerning because he is a much better defender than Tony Parker is. But I just still like Rubio today. I think he's a little bit too cheap with how many minutes he's getting. And I think this is a good spot for him where he can pay off this price tag. It definitely gets you 6, 7, maybe even 8x on this price. Love Rubio here, just 6,100. Going back to the well on him today. I think he's a great option at point guard. I don't have any plays at shooting guard or small forward, at least not in my 5. But we'll quickly skim through these positions, talk about where we could go. I think shooting guard, we could probably go to like this mid-tier today. Gary Harris could be like a really interesting tournament play in a fast-paced game against the Warriors. You don't really like the matchup with Klay Thompson, but Harris plays really well in these up-tempo games. He's going to be needed here. He's a really good defender. They're going to need him to guard Steph, to guard Klay. Good chance Harris plays close to 40 minutes here. He's priced under 6K, just 5,700. We could go to him at shooting guard. If we're going to that mid-tier, he could definitely be a play. Obviously, you could pay up for like Bradley Beal, even though he's priced up. Really good matchup for him against Orlando. You could go to Jimmy, 8,900. Like I said, Oladipo's prices come down a bit. Definitely like him in this spot. Jamal Murray, been playing really well. If he sees some Steph Curry defense, this could be a spot where Murray has a really nice game. Last game against OKC, 46 DraftKings points, had a nice game there. Could play Murray in that mid-tier, Gary Harris. This Golden State Denver game, I think it's a game we're definitely going to want to have some exposure to today. Not seeing a lot of value at shooting guard, at least options that I see the night before. So looking at small forward real quickly, we'll go through this position as well. Small forward, you can obviously play LeBron here against Houston. Primetime game on ABC. You know LeBron's going to get up for this game, going to play really well. Only put up 49 DraftKings points in 40 minutes in the last time these teams did face. It is a bit concerning as well that LeBron hasn't been playing that great lately. Isaiah Thomas, when he is on the court, does take a bit away from LeBron. Definitely, IT has the ball in his hands a lot. Kind of taking assist away from LeBron, been scoring the ball well. But LeBron in a primetime game, you can definitely go there. If you want to pay up a small forward, I think I'd prefer him like over KD. You could obviously play Simmons here. He's been playing well lately. I believe he crushed this Pacers team earlier this year. You could play Simmons. If we go to this mid-tier, like Markieff Morris, a guy been playing really well lately. Just been so consistent in his last few games, giving you 30 to 35 DraftKings points, it seems like every game. The minutes have been there. You could play Markieff in this mid-tier. You could go back to that Golden State Denver game, play someone like Will Barton. Even Wiggins against the Pelicans, you could go there at 5,700. He's done pretty well against the Pelicans this year. Through 2 games, he's averaged 39 DraftKings points, and Wiggins is cheap today at just 5,700. He's a mid-tier play that I see at small forward. And then value, it's obviously hard to find the cheap value plays. Etuan Moore could definitely be an option. With Boogie off the court, Moore does see a bit of a boost. He's playing really well Friday night against OKC as I'm recording this video. We know he's going to play a ton of minutes. It's just a matter of if he's hitting his shots or not. So you could go to Etuan Moore if you're going cheap here. But that's really what I see at small forward for value. So at power forward, do have a 5 play here. He's a really cheap play. But we will go over some of the top options like Anthony Davis, to play AD with Boogie off the court. AD's still too cheap at 11.3. When Boogie's off the court, I think Anthony Davis should be priced like over 12K at least every single day. So at 11.3, you could go there if you want to pay up for him on this slate. And then in this mid-tier, like you got Aldridge, 7,500. Not the best matchup against the Jazz, but with Kawhi off the court, you can definitely consider Aldridge here. And especially when he's only 7,500, it's pretty likely he's able to pay this off, even sort of a tough matchup. He's a mid-tier play I see. But the value, this is where I'm looking to go to at power forward. There is one cheap play I like at this position. Another cheap play I see, though, is definitely Tristan Thompson here against Houston. Good chance Thompson has to play some nice minutes to guard Capella. As long as Capella's on the court, I feel like they're going to need Thompson on the court. So Thompson's probably going to play mid-20s, close to 30 minutes against the Rockets, a fast-paced game. Plenty of opportunities for rebounds for Thompson. Definitely think he's most likely able to get a double-double here. You could play Thompson if you're going cheap. Could play Mo Spates if Aaron Gordon's out again. Mo Spates been playing really well. He's been starting for Aaron Gordon when Gordon's been out, and he's been having nice games. You could play him at 4,200. But the cheap option, sub 5K, I see at power forward. Definitely injury dependent, so don't just plug this guy in. Make sure you're keeping up with news. But Bam Adebayo at 3,800 in a matchup against Detroit. I think we see Bam Adebayo play really nice minutes here. If Hassan Whiteside does not play today, Whiteside did leave Friday's game with the illness, and the Heat are on a back-to-back, so there's a chance Whiteside could sit out this game. And if he does sit out, I feel like Adebayo going to have to play minutes here. Now that Detroit has, we obviously know they have Drummond, but now that they've got Blake Griffin, they've got a big front court. They're going to need big guys like Adebayo to defend Drummond, to defend Blake Griffin. And if Whiteside's out, Adebayo is going to have to play minutes, like I said. And if he's going to play 25 to 30 minutes, if Whiteside's out, he can definitely pay off this cheap $3,800 price tag. So like I said, guys, don't just plug in Adebayo. Make sure you're keeping up with the news. If Whiteside plays, most likely will not be going to Adebayo, but if Whiteside is out, I think Bam, really good value play, sub 5K, just 3,800 in a matchup against the Pistons. But then moving on to center, there's a mid-tier play I like at this position to finish out my 5 plays. But we'll talk about some of the other options we could consider. You could play Embiid, even though it's on a back-to-back. The Sixers did say they're going to let Embiid play this back-to-back. He's in a great spot against the Pacers. Not sure if I'm going to try and jam in Embiid on a back-to-back, especially when you have Anthony Davis up top, who you could play in a great matchup. But you can't go wrong with Embiid. That's such a good matchup for him against the Pacers. Jokic against the Warriors, definitely a good tournament play you could go to. Jokic's been crushing lately, and he's still priced under 9K. I like him as someone to pay it for. This mid-tier, you could play Aldridge here. You could play Capella against the Cavs. Don't mind him in that mid-tier if you want to go to him. But there's a play in the 6K range that I really like today. 6,100, Miles Turner going up against the Sixers. Now, this is obviously not the best matchup going up against Embiid. Embiid is a very good defender. But Miles Turner just too cheap, I feel like, especially with how well he's been playing. He's been getting the minutes ever since he's come back from injury. He's played 3 games, and he's played 11, 21, and 33 minutes through those 3 games. He's actually played 4 games because the Pacers did play on Friday night. Turner did start, and I believe he played like 30, 33 minutes against Dwight Howard and the Hornets, and he did have a nice game on Friday night as well. He's gotten decent minutes the last 2 games and has put up 34 and 40 DraftKings points. He's had some tough matchups as well. Against Charlotte, he still put up 34 DK points in 21 minutes. Against Memphis, he put up 40 DraftKings points in 33 minutes. And on Friday night, he had a really nice game and put up like 40, 45 DK points in like 30, 33 minutes. Turner been starting. Sabonis has moved back to the bench. Turner's back in the starting lineup. Even though he's had tough matchups lately, he's still been getting the job done and been paying off this price tag. Actually been returning like tournament value on this price. Love Turner here at 6,100. Even though it's not the best matchup, I feel like he's going to have to play minutes to guard Embiid. And I just feel like Turner's a bit underpriced. So he is a guy I like in that mid-tier. If you want to go cheap here, you could play like Kelly O if Whiteside is out today. You could go to Olynyk at 4,900. Gortat's in a great matchup against the Magic, but his minutes have been inconsistent. Not sure if we want to go there. I think the cheap plays here are definitely like Thompson. You could play Bam here. You could play Mo Bates if Aaron Gordon's out again. But that's what I'm seeing for center, guys. I think that's pretty much it for this video. Hopefully you guys did enjoy the vid. If you did, make sure you give it a like and make sure you subscribe as well if you have not already. If you have any questions, feel free to hit me up on Twitter at the DFS_GO or just leave a comment down below. And I will try and get back to your question as soon as I can. But yeah, guys, I think that's pretty much it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and good luck tonight on this slate. Peace, guys.